everybody. Okay, so I usually don't do videos this close together, but this was a special request from a friend of mine. Shout out to Jaws Junk, also on YouTube. He's a really cool guy. And I was asked to tell you guys how to write a poem. Little bit of backstory. I don't really write poetry, but I am a creative writer. So I do try to write poetry, and a couple months ago, back in November, I had written this one poem that was really deep and emotional, and maybe one I should not be reading because it was a very personal letter to somebody. But I'm gonna read it, and I'm gonna kind of analyze it a little bit, and we'll go from there. So yeah, okay. So it's one page, and I'm gonna read it. Push me closer into a kiss with you. Make me feel obsessed with noses obstructing the closeness. Your tongue grips the passion within my heart, tying the wetness in my mouth to the wetness in yours, like a rope holding hands overhead. Craving warmth, it's a natural thing, but it becomes beastly. Wrap me up in arms of fire. Maybe I'd felt you honored my being, regardless of how little words. I would shove love into crevices, into letters, into song. But that is not this. This is desire. Desperate, whole desire. And I've never seen a man so willing to love me. So, that was this. Couple things about a poem. So, you should keep your poem generally short. I like to keep mine exactly one page because I hate flipping from page to next page when you're so deep in a moment. So I keep mine to one page. Some people keep theirs to only like 3 sentences. It really just depends on the person. Metaphors are a huge thing. So I'm gonna give you an example from one of my lines, which is odd because I don't usually do this. Let's see. Okay. So I wrote like a rope holding hands overhead. So it's kind of a metaphor for, this is gonna sound really gross, but it's a metaphor to connect the sentence wet, like the phrase wet. It kind of gives your brain an image of like what it could look like. So stuff like that is really important to incorporate. A theme is also important to incorporate if you want to do that, if you kind of just want to go for it. Honestly, there are not like rules that you should be following, but it's honestly just up to you. What else? There's a thing called free verse, although I'm gonna be honest, I'm not really sure what that is. I think it's kind of a go with the flow, do your own kind of thing. Yeah, I know that there are some kind of poets that have like an A-B format. So like they'll have a rhyming word at the end and then match it to the third phrase. So like the first phrase and the third phrase will rhyme, and then the second and the fourth phrase will rhyme. And then it'll be like a rhyming couplet kind of thing. So you could do that. It really just depends. Yeah. I'm kind of more of a narrative person, so I'm kind of just thinking about everything I've learned in creative writing and all my other English classes, and yeah, sorry about that. What else do I know about poems? Not much. All I know is that you should find inspiration in something or in someone, because I usually find inspiration in a person or a place, and I base my entire poem or narrative work, I guess, on that image / inspiration. And it becomes a life in itself, because you have to take the life of that memory of the person or the place or whatever it may be, and you have to transform it into words, which is not always the easiest thing, especially when you want to use the same word over and over again, which is fine if you want to do that. Just make sure it's purposeful. Because then it could become repetitive, and that's no bueno. Yeah. Looking back on my writing, it's weird. It's not something that I typically do. As a writer, or somebody trying to write, you should look back on your writing. You should edit your own work. You should go back and revise, but it's not something I do. Mainly because, and don't take my advice on this. This is not something you should be taking advice on. But I write in a moment. So I feel something that compels me to write. I write it down, and I never go back and edit it, pretty much ever. Unless it's like little things like grammar. Because I don't want to take away what I felt in that moment. I want to keep that as whole and as natural as I could make it. So, yeah. But honestly, if you just want to write something, go ahead and write it. Just jot down your life as it happens, because you're going to look back and you're going to realize that so much of your life has passed, and it's a really important thing to document that. I don't know. Plus, if you want to write for somebody or about somebody, that person's really going to love it. So, yeah. That's kind of it. This was way longer than I thought it was going to be. So, this is Ginger I Was Drunk. This video is for you. Again, if anybody has any content ideas, let me know. I have yet to make the ramen noodles. Yeah, that's going to happen one day. I just have to encourage my mother, who is organic obsessed, to let me get it in the house, and then find a way that I can do that without my mother seeing, because she's very overprotective about my health. But she means the best, and I love her for it. So yeah, this was my poem. Closer look for those who would like to see. And yeah, I hope everyone has a lovely day. And yeah, hope spring comes soon. See you guys later. Bye.